Okay, I'm talking way too fast. Hello, welcome to the we're going to be reading a story, but first we're going to be reading the Bible, and then we're going to do this house, and then we're going to be reading Pilgrim's Progress.
That's my name tag.
That's my name tag.
No, it's go.
Why?
Because it's my turn.
Okay.
Hello and welcome and greetings. Thank you, one person, for being here. I hope that you like this story, and I know we're taking our time with it, and it's going to be lots of episodes, but it should be really good, especially once we get into the meat of it. All right, so now we're on Exodus chapter 4. Obviously, Moses has left Egypt. He's in Midian. He got married. He's actually been there for a little while, and now he has encountered God in the burning bush. So now we're going to continue with with Exodus chapter 4. And this is the English Standard Version. Let me begin. Then Moses answered, "But behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice, for they will say, 'The Lord did not appear to you.' The Lord said to him, 'What is that in your hand?' He said, 'A staff.' And he said, 'Throw it on the ground.' So he threw it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses ran from it. But the Lord said to Moses, 'Put out your hand and catch it by the tail.' So he put out his hand and caught it, and it became a staff in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has appeared to you." Again the Lord said to him, "Put your hand inside your cloak." And he put his hand inside his cloak. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous like snow. Then God said, "Put your hand back inside your cloak." So he put his hand back inside his cloak. And when he took it out, behold, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. "If they will not believe you," God said, "or listen to the first sign, they may believe the latter sign. If they will not believe even these two signs, or listen to your voice, you shall take some water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground, and the water that you shall take from the Nile will become blood on the dry ground." But Moses said to the Lord, "Oh, my Lord, I am not eloquent, either in the past or since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and of tongue." Then the Lord said to him, "Who has made man's mouth? Who made him mute or deaf or seeing or blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall speak." But he said, "Oh, my Lord, please send somebody else." Then the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, "Is there not Aaron your brother the Levite? I know that he can speak well. Behold, he is coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you both what to do. He shall speak for you to the people, and he shall be your mouth, and you shall be as God to him. And take in your hand this staff with which you shall do the signs." Moses went back to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said to him, "Please let me go back to my brothers in Egypt to see whether they are still alive." And Jethro said to Moses, "Go in peace." And the Lord said to Moses in Midian, "Go back to Egypt, for all the men who are seeking your life are dead." So Moses took his wife and his sons and had them ride on a donkey and went back to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the staff of God in his hand. And the Lord said to Moses, "When you go back to Egypt, see that you do before Pharaoh all the miracles that I have put in your power. But I will harden his heart so that he will not let the people go. Then you shall say to Pharaoh, 'Thus says the Lord, Israel is my firstborn son, and I say to you, let my son go, that he may serve me. If you refuse to let him go, behold, I will kill your firstborn son.' at a lodging place. On the way the Lord met him and sought to put him to death. Then Zipporah took a flint and cut off her son's foreskin and touched Moses' feet with it and said, "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me." So he let him alone. It was then that she said, "A bridegroom of blood," because of the circumcision. The Lord said to Aaron, "Go into the wilderness to meet Moses." So he went and met him in the mountain of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord with which he had sent him to speak, and all the signs that he had commanded him to do. Then Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the people of Israel. Aaron spoke all the words that the Lord had spoken to Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people, and the people believed. And when they heard that the Lord had visited the people of Israel, and that he had seen their affliction, they bowed their heads and worshipped. And that is the end of Exodus chapter 4. So, yes, 40 years. However, I wasn't sure if it had said that at this point, or if it says it later on, where it breaks down the age of Moses into groups of time periods, and 40 years in 40 years in Egypt, 40 years in Midian, and then 40 years leading the Israelites. So he was 80 years old when he started, but I don't remember if it actually said that. Yes, an 80-year-old man began his ministry when he was 80 years old. All right, so we're on the Pilgrim's Progress. So, in the last 2 chapters, I'll just kind of go ahead and synopsis. Is that a verb? I guess so. I will synopsis the first 2 chapters. So, this dude named Christian met this other dude named Evangelist. And Evangelist, I think he burnt his house down or something like that. And then Christian was so sad, so he went to Obstinate and Pliable, and they beat up Christian for him. And here's Kimberly to say what really happened.
So, what actually happened was, Christian was very upset, and he was very sad, and he went over and talked to Evangelist, and Evangelist told him to go over to these wicket gates on the other side of this big old field. So he starts going over there, and he's followed by 2 people, and one of them decides to go with him, and it just so happens to be Pliable. And the other one's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so gullible, Pliable. What on earth has convinced you to go with this crazy person?" And then he runs off. And I'm going to hand it to Dad, who's going to read us a story. JJ, that's my feet. Okay.
Hello again, I'm back, and also front. Okay, so we're on chapter 4, which is actually chapter 3, because I don't really count the author's apology as a chapter. All right, so, and this one, just like the others, are short, so it gives you a lot of time to consider what is going on in between days. And we are going to try to do this every day, but yesterday we didn't have an internet connection for whatever reason. I'm not blaming any companies for not fixing their tower, but let's just go ahead and get going. So this is chapter 4, Slough of Despond and Help. And actually I think it's Slough of Despond and Help. So it looks like Slough, S-L-O-U-G-H, but I think it's pronounced Slough of Despond and Help. All right, let's go ahead and begin. Pliable, and what company shall we have there? Christian. There we shall be with seraphims and cherubims, creatures that will dazzle your eyes to look on them. There also you shall meet with thousands and 10,000s that have gone before us to that place. None of them are hurtful, but loving and holy, everyone walking in the sight of God and standing in his presence with acceptance forever. In a word, there we shall see the elders with their golden crowns. There we shall see the holy virgins with their golden harps. There we shall see men that by the world were cut in pieces, burnt in flames, eaten of beasts, drowned in the seas, for the love they bear to the Lord of the place, all well and clothed with immortality as with a garment. Pliable. The hearing of this is enough to ravish one's heart, but are these things to be enjoyed? How shall we get to be sharers thereof? Christian. The Lord, the governor of the country, hath recorded that in this book, the substance of which is, if we be truly willing to have it, he will bestow it upon us freely. Pliable. Well, my good companion, glad am I to hear of these things. Come on, let us mend our pace. Christian. I cannot go as fast as I would by reason of this burden that is on my back. Now I say in my dream that just as they had ended this talk, they drew nigh to a very miry slough that was in the midst of the plain, and they, being heedless, did both fall suddenly into the bog. The name of the slough was Despond. Here, therefore, they wallowed for a time, being grievously bedaubed with the dirt, and Christian, because of the burden that was on his back, began to sink in the mire. I think I'm going to use that word bedaubed. That's an awesome word. Pliable. Then said Pliable, Ah, neighbor Christian, where are you now? Christian. Truly, said Christian, I do not know. Pliable. At this, Pliable began to be offended, and angrily said to his fellow, Is this the happiness you have told me of all this, who you have told me all this while of? If we have such ill speed at our first setting out, what may we expect between this and our journey's end? May I get out again with my life? You shall possess the brave country alone for me. And with that he gave a desperate struggle or two, and got out of the mire on that side of the slough, which was next to his own house. So away he went, and Christian saw him no more. Wherefore Christian was left to tumble in the slough of Despond alone, but still he endeavoured to struggle to that side of the slough that was farthest from his own house, and next to the wicket gate, the which he did, he could not get out because of the burden that was upon his back. But I beheld in my dream that a man came to him whose name was Help, and asked him what he did there. Christian. Sir, said Christian, I was bid to go this way by a man called Evangelist, who directed me also to yonder gate, that I might escape the wrath to come. And as I was going thither, I fell in here. Help. But why did you not look for the steps? Christian. Fear followed me so hard that I fled the next way and fell in. Help. Then, said he, give me thine hand. So he gave him his hand, and he drew him out, and he set him upon solid ground, and bid him go on his way. Then I stepped to him that plucked him out, and said, Sir, wherefore, since over this place is the way from the city of destruction to yonder gate? It is that this plat is not mended, that poor travellers might go thither with more security. And he said unto me, This miry slough is such a place as cannot be mended. It is the descent whither the scum and filth that attends conviction for sin doth continually run, and therefore it is called the Slough of Despond. For still, as the sinner is awakened about his lost condition, there arise in his soul many fears and doubts and discouraging apprehensions, which all of them get together and settle in this place. And this is the reason of the badness of this ground. It is not the pleasure of the king that this place should remain so bad. His labourers also have, by the direction of his majesty's surveyors, been for above this 1600 years employed about this patch of ground. And that's 1600 years, of course, from when the book was written. So it would have been 2000 years now employed about this patch of ground, if perhaps it might have been mended. Yea, and to my knowledge, said he, there have been swallowed up at least 20,000 cartloads, yea, millions of wholesome instructions that have at all seasons been brought from all places of the king's dominions. And they that can tell say they are the best materials to make good ground of the place. If so be it might have been mended. But it is the slough of despond still, and so will be when they have done what they can. True, there are, by the direction of the lawgiver, certain good and substantial steps placed even through the very midst of this slough, but at such time as this place doth much spew out its filth, as it doth against change of weather, these steps are hardly seen, or if they be, men through the dizziness of their heads step beside, and then they are bemired to purpose, notwithstanding the steps be there. But the ground is good when they are once got in at the gate. And that is the end of chapter 4, which is about the slough of despond. So chapter 5 is called Mr. Worldly Wise Man, and the first word is now. And we will read that not now, but tomorrow when we are able to do the live stream. So I hope that everybody's enjoying the story. We will continue. I know this is a slow way to read it, but if you want more content, then I just encourage you to go back and listen to the old episodes and see what you can glean from it. So God bless you. Have a great night, and we will see you again next time. Thank you. Bye.